Okay, guys, just gonna talk about Conor McGregor because we know it's kind of been thrown out there that he's gonna come back next year, by the end of the year. And I just think, like, if you look at, okay, where's the places he can go, we obviously know MSG. I'm saying UFC Africa. I'm also saying it's possible for UFC Spain. I'm saying as well, like, he would be a good comeback to have at UFC London, but I want Paddy the Baddy to grow, and obviously, like, I want him to co-main events UFC London this year. So, look, where can he fight? Where can he fight? Las Vegas. We know that they love Conor. Do we want him to go back to Brazil? Not that much. So look, like I'm saying, America. I'm saying New York or Las Vegas, and then definitely Africa. So who do I think he should fight? Definitely not fucking Chandler. I'm tired of seeing this socialist union bullshit in the UFC between analysts and fighters and former fighters. No one is owed. No one is owed a title shot. No one is owed an opportunity. No one is owed a chance. This is MMA. This is the UFC. Pieces change all the time. And I'm tired of seeing the socialist bullshit in the UFC. Where we're having analysts have all these like bright opinions and trying to be smarter than they are, and then having the audacity and the gall to call other people not smart just because they can speak fast, or we don't even know if they speak fast. We just, maybe the editing and production just speed up how they speak. So I'm tired of seeing that bullshit. At the end of the day, the UFC believes in free market enterprises. They believe in the free market model. They are capitalists by nature. They support Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a capitalist. He believes in free markets. He believes in capitalism. He doesn't believe in the socialist union mumbo jumbo. And I think he would be very disappointed if someone was to tell him, like, hey, you know what, this analyst is advocating for unionism and socialism within the UFC. So I don't think anyone deserves anything. I don't think just because the tough thing happened and just because Chandler and him had a face off, that Chandler now, even though he lost, deserves to fight McGregor. That just doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, Chandler lost. He's clearly not a big of a draw as he was if he had to win, or if he had to not take this fight. Let's ask that question, idiots. Like, fake smart people, idiots. And I'm referring to the analysts. Like, if Chandler had to not fight, right? If he had to not choose his fight with Charles Oliveira, would he be a bigger draw? Would he be a bigger draw for Conor versus Chandler than if he had to win the fight? Obviously, if he won the fight, right, he'd be a bigger draw. But now, would Chandler be a bigger draw if he, or maintain the same level and ability to draw if he lost to Chandler, if he lost to Oliveira, versus if he didn't fight? And the answer would be if he didn't fight. So he took this chance, he took the risk, he was well aware, and he lost. Like, there's no chance that if Charles Oliveira had to lose against Chandler and Chandler had to win, Chandler wasn't gonna demand more money to fight Conor McGregor. He wasn't gonna be in a better in a better form of or situation of leverage in negotiations to fight McGregor. It wasn't going to be like he wasn't going to push for the McGregor fight more if he had to beat Charles Oliveira. So he was aware of the risk. He was aware of what he was giving up, what he's putting on the line, and he even, he was arrogant about it. He had an ego about it. He had pride about it. When he was asked the questions at the conferences, he was the person that said, hey, you know what? I think McGregor's like this, but Charles and I are like this because we fight him. So he wanted to put himself and alienate himself from Conor McGregor, and he pays the price for it. I don't think that now, because he lost, especially the way he did, getting dominated by Charles Oliveira, it makes sense for him now to fight McGregor. If anything, I think, honestly, I still said I wanted Khamzat to go down to middleweight. I mean, from middleweight to welterweight. Clearly that might not happen, but I'm saying a good fight for McGregor, if he's coming back to the UFC, would be then, regardless if he wins or loses against Shafkat, would be Ian Gary. It sounds sad, it sounds sadistic, but remember, guys, I'm not a nice guy. I'm not a nice person. I don't know. No one ever said I was a nice person. And I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but I am a fucking asshole. I'm not a nice person. I never once claimed to be a nice person. I'm definitely not on the side of the good guys. And what I'm saying is, Conor should fucking steal or take away or boost or G or Vala Ian Gary's fans. As from one Irishman to another. If he has to win or lose, Conor McGregor should fight Ian Gary. That's the easier fight for him to have at welterweight, and then beat the fuck out of Ian Gary, and take Ian's fans, right? And that's a great way for him to come back into the UFC. And I know that, like Ian Gary has always been a fan of Conor. That'll be a swag thing to do, but this is MMA, guys. This is MMA. I mean, who else do we want Conor to fight? Like, if you're going into welterweights, then who are we saying? Should he fight Leon Edwards? I think that would be an interesting fight. I don't think Colby Covington versus McGregor would be that great. We're talking about welterweight now, and I'm saying, yeah, I think if he's staying at welterweight, then it's Ian Gary or Leon Edwards, and I'd rather go for Ian Gary if I'm McGregor. If you're going to lightweight again, then who does he fight? Like maybe Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje. I don't see that as a draw. Look, in lightweight it's either Max Holloway, Dustin Poirier, or Charles Oliveira. That's the truth, guys. That is the truth. I don't see him. I don't see him having any other great fights or any other interesting fights, if not at welterweight, then Leon Edwards and Ian Gary, but Ian Gary is the number one pick. And then at lightweight, I'm saying Charles Oliveira, Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway. And I think Max Holloway actually would be a good fight for him to have and challenge if he's staying at lightweight for the BMF belts. I think that's something that can be arranged, especially if if we see Max Holloway fight Paddy the Baddy, and then Max Holloway had to beat Paddy the Baddy and retain his BMF championship, then I think that would be a good fight for Max Holloway and for Conor McGregor to have, right? What will also be a good fight is to complete that I don't even know what it is at this point, but that saga between him and Dustin Poirier. To complete that would be great. And then Charles Oliveira, if he's looking up for a challenge. So he's got two challenges, two options in either Leon Edwards or Charles Oliveira. And then I wouldn't call them easy fights, but I'd call them like good fights for Conor, which would be the BMF belt with Max Holloway, and then obviously Ian Gary to take kind of Ian Gary's fans at welterweight. So it's for Conor to decide. But like I'm saying, I think that's a good idea for Conor to kind of look at when it comes to his career. But I would preferably overall like to see him fight Khamzat at welterweight, which would be a great fight for both fighters and the UFC, as well as the community. So we haven't heard any confirmation, any details about Conor and who his possible opponents are, what division he would be fighting at, or if Khamzat would make a move back down to welterweight, or if he's going to stay at middleweight permanently. I mean, there's a lot of factors, a lot of question marks, but just playing some game theory for you guys, I think that those could be the possible options for Conor McGregor.